Recent movements of Me Too and Time's Up have shed the spotlight on sexual assault and sexual harassment. Nationally, April is Sexual Assault Awareness Month, and Peace River Center has programs to support those in need. All the details are coming up on Polk Place. Welcome to Polk Place. I'm your host, Tina Mann, and joining me in the studio today is Melissa Irving, the Rape Recovery Program Manager with Peace River Center Victim Services.
Absolutely.
So tell me a little bit about April and why this month is important.
April is National Sexual Assault Awareness Month. This year's theme is Embrace Your Voice. The month of April is important for survivors of sexual assault. It helps them, I feel empowered, gain support, their strength in numbers, and it also raises awareness and it mobilizes the public into action about sexual assault and the issues surrounding sexual assault.
And I know it probably makes people feel a lot less alone. Kind of like the Me Too movement that, kind of brought to life all these celebrities and how many people have been affected by this issue. Do you know how many men and women have been affected by this?
Statistics say 1 in 5 women, 1 in 6 boys, about 62% of men have been victims of rape or sexual assault. Absolutely.
And that's a lot. And I don't think people know just how prevalent that is. And a lot of people do feel alone. They're afraid to report it, and they don't know where to go. And you guys actually provide a really important resource for someone to go to. Can you tell me a little bit about Peace River and what you guys do for them?
Absolutely. So we're the Victim Services Program for Peace River Center. We have 2 components to our program. One component of our program is domestic violence, and then our program is rape recovery. And we provide survivors of sexual assault, of recent sexual assault, or past sexual assault with free counseling services, information, referral, support group. We provide a lot of hospital advocacy. And so when someone has reported sexual assault to law enforcement or come into the ER, we will respond to that victim at the hospital. We'll bring them clothing, provide them emotional support, and just make sure they're okay during the whole forensic exam process. We also provide legal advocacy. So after the forensic exam, the hospital experience, if the survivor wants to pursue her case, she can use us to help her navigate the legal system. So we're not lawyers, but we can definitely be a support, help with referrals, knowing what to talk about when she goes for an interview with law enforcement. Even with injunctions, there are injunctions for sexual violence. And so we can go to court with her and just be there for her our support system, because a lot of times survivors are alone and they don't want their family members to know, but our services are available as well to family members and friends of survivors. We also do a lot of educational groups in the community, educational groups with youth, because we believe that primary prevention is key, and just talking about safe relationships, healthy dating, and boundaries are what we educate the students on. And then we have support groups as well. So those are just some of the things that we do.
All of that is important, so important, especially the pre-education. I mean, because there is so much of a prevalence of just craziness on social media and these text apps and things where people are getting involved in stuff they're not ready for.
Absolutely.
And they don't know how to stop it because then they don't want to be uncool or whatever, and it's really, y'all are trying to change that.
Absolutely.
So I had no idea you guys provided all that. That's amazing, especially because, also for victims' families and stuff, because people don't really realize how much of an impact it has, not only on the victim, but their families, and the guilt, especially with children, that they have associated with, how did I not know this? How did I not prevent this? So, I mean, it's equally as important, and helping those people walk the victim through it. So, you kept saying she. Do you guys only serve women, or do you serve men as well?
Thank you for asking that. We do serve men.
Okay.
Peace River Center's Victim Services serves men. So our domestic violence side, as well as our sexual violence side, we do serve men.
Okay.
It's just more prevalent with women, and
It
so
is.
that's why you hear me saying she. But
Right.
definitely, we do have male survivors. Absolutely.
Okay, and children as well.
12 years and up for our rape recovery program. Yes, we do.
That's excellent. So I know that you guys do a lot of advocacy, but you guys are always in need of help and donations and volunteers because, I mean, the bigger the community, the better you can serve people. So why don't you tell me about the needs that you guys have there?
So our first need is volunteers. We really need volunteers to help us respond to the hospital advocacy part of the job because we serve the 5 hospitals here in Polk County.
Wow.
And so when we have volunteers able to help, when we get a call out, they can respond as quick. We have to respond within an hour. So sometimes someone might be at Bartow and we get a call out in Lakeland, or vice versa, Winter Haven or Davenport.
Yes.
And then when we're here in Polk County and we don't have anybody to respond in Hardy or Highlands County, someone has to go down there. So we need volunteers in all 3 of those counties to help our program respond to these survivors. But we also need our volunteers to help us with community outreach.
Right.
If we can get volunteers in, educate them about our services, our program, then we can use the volunteers to go out and actually do some of the educating in the community. So that's the volunteer piece. We also accept donations. We usually have to buy the clothing kits, and our budgets are not very big, and so we need clothing kits for our survivors. So that's pants, shirts. It can be sweatpants or sweatshirts, but it's Florida, so you might not be able to find those at all. Underwear, I'm adding sports bras into
Right.
the kits. In the last 2 years, we've incorporated sports bras. And then we just do like a little Ziploc bag of hygiene items, so deodorant, toothpaste, toothbrush, because some of our survivors are homeless, and we're their resource. And so we definitely can use any of those items, and also flip-flops. We find flip-flops are most comfortable because at the hospital, when the victim is reporting, her clothes are taken away, or his clothes are taken away,
Right.
and also their shoes. So we add flip-flops into the clothing kit.
And that's why that's important, and people don't really realize that either, is that those clothes become evidence.
Absolutely.
And then not only have these people been through something so traumatic, but now they don't even have anything of their own to change into most of the time. So what you guys are doing is giving them a little bit of their dignity and cleanliness back where they may not be feeling very clean. And let's go back to the volunteers for a minute. If people are interested in volunteering or becoming a volunteer, what is the process?
So there's a volunteer contact form on peacerivercenter.org, our website, and they can fill that volunteer form out. It comes straight to me, and I will contact that person who's interested if I feel like they are, if we are fit for them. If they're not, then I usually forward them to, because Peace Service Center is the mental health organization, I usually forward it to someone else within the organization who might be a better fit for that person. But specifically for anyone wanting to help survivors, fill out that contact form, make sure they document in there that they want to help survivors of either domestic violence or sexual assault, and we'll definitely I'll reach back out to them.
Okay, and is there any requirements for volunteering, age, background checks, things like that?
18 years old, there is background screening, drug testing is involved as well. And and those fees have to come out of the volunteer's pocket. For our program, we will reimburse the fees once the person actually becomes the volunteer. And so then there's specialized training, the same training that the staff get, the volunteers will go through as well.
That's excellent.
And that part is free of charge.
And that way they get everything that they need to, do and help these people. And it's just amazing.
Absolutely.
I mean, you think there's about 666,000 people in Polk County. You take that statistic and you think of that 1 in 5 or that 1 in 6, and how many people just here in Polk County you guys have the potential to serve.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, you guys are doing an amazing thing. So, is there anything you would recommend a listener do to help raise awareness of this month?
So April 3rd is National Day of Action for Sexual Assault Awareness Month. We're till
Wear teal.
Teal ribbon, teal shirt, teal
I
hair
should have
bows.
worn teal today.
Absolutely. And just in solidarity that you are recognizing that it is Sexual Assault Awareness Month and that you're showing support to survivors, that we hear you, we know that, you know, you're out there, and we want survivors to embrace their voice. And so, yes.
That's excellent. And I'm loving the Me Too movement and some of the other movements, so that, you know, it is raising awareness of how big and how enormous this problem is. So
Absolutely.
is there anything else you think would be important to know about Peace River or this month?
So Peace River Center is, of course, nonprofit. Our services at our victim services program are free of charge and confidential. A lot of people are afraid to seek services because they're afraid that somebody's going to get their information. You can call our 24-hour crisis line or our helpline, and we'll get you connected to an advocate. Our services are free, and we're here to help, and we want to help.
And that's the thing they do. The confidentiality thing is important, because not all these people who want to, you know, press charges. It might be somebody, you know, they just, I don't even know, but that doesn't need to be a barrier for them to contact and actually get help, because that counseling can just make the world of difference between functioning normally and just completely falling apart.
Absolutely.
So,
and the services are available to survivors who don't want to press charges.
And they don't need insurance or anything in order to get these?
Not for victim services, they do not.
Excellent.
Absolutely.
Well, you guys are doing a wonderful thing over there, and we thank you for coming out and bringing up some awareness and letting people know, and hopefully if there's anybody out there who needs help, they'll contact you.
Thank you so much for having me.
The mission of Peace River Center Victim Services is to reduce the incidence of sexual violence and domestic family violence, as well as promote safety and a higher quality of life through shelter services, supportive programming, counseling, advocacy, education, and outreach in Polk, Hardy, and Highland counties. Nationally, April is Sexual Assault Awareness Month and raises awareness about sexual assault and teaches communities on how to prevent sexual violence. Peace River Center's victim services are always available. All services are free, and there is a 24-hour sexual violence helpline. That number is 863-413-2707, or for more information, you can look them up on the web at www.peacerivercenter.org.